Let's get it. Week 7, and the boys are buzzing. Welcome into Gameday Nation alongside Mike Jewell, Mike Robinson. I'm Yaw Bonsu. The best place to start is the wild NLL. You have 3 teams sitting at 5-1. That doesn't include Anthony Wayne, who's sitting at 4-2. Mike Rob, let's keep it simple. Which team needs to make the biggest statement tonight?
You know what? It's which teams need to make the biggest statement.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with a couple of them. It's the game that we're going to be watching and paying attention to. Perrysburg and Findlay.
Anthony Wayne, a 45-21 loss to Whitmer last week, the largest loss under head coach Andy Brungard. That goes back more than a decade. The Generals call it a get-right game for them tonight. And as for Findlay, what about that defense, Mike Rob? Shutting out Fremont Ross and Clay over the past 2 weeks. Combined score 77-0. The Trojans haven't allowed a touchdown in their last 8 quarters of play. What impresses you so much about them?
Well, again, I remember very much so when I got that phone call from Stephen Adams after the state championship. He said, what does it take to win?
We have a loaded game slate tonight on Gameday Nation. Let's take a look. 6 games tonight. Now, when you talk about contenders, when you talk about playoff teams, 10 of the 12 teams you see on your screen are at or above 500 this season. That's highlighted by our game of the week. 5-1 Eden taking on 4-1 Whiteford, a matchup between the only 2 teams in attack that are unbeaten in conference play. And we also have 3 NLL matchups on the schedule, including the aforementioned 5-1 Perrysburg taking on 5-1 Findlay. And rounding out the schedule, Lumen Christi taking on St. Francis, and Huron facing Bellevue. But let's circle back to our game of the week. Whiteford and Eden. The Bobcats are riding a 3-game winning streak, outscoring opponents 181-13. Mike Jewell, what impresses you the most about the way the Bobcats are winning lately?
Well, they're doing it with an anger, and that's a good thing in football. It's good to play with anger.
You talked about Breck Ruddy. He's averaging 144 yards on the ground during this 3-game winning streak, but the story of the week when it comes to Whiteford, Rocco Pillarelli is now a Bobcat. Mike Rob, what does Pillarelli add to this already loaded backfield?
I mean, Rocco's modern life. You know, this kid has really come back, and he's going to step up and really help this team out.
So make it 9 straight quarters. Findlay hasn't allowed a touchdown to anybody. 0-0 at the end of one between the Yellow Jackets and the Trojans. You're watching Gameday Nation, presented by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, Nicole. As she said, Central Catholic up big time over St. John's, 35-0. And this is a Central Catholic team that if the season ended today, wouldn't be in the postseason. Yeah, I had to remind you guys about that. Would be the 13th seed.
Hold on. You said if it ended today and they're beating St. John's 35-0, they'd be in the playoffs.
But they started the season 0-3. The resume isn't as strong. St. John's is not exactly the strongest team in the area. So Fighting Irish up 35-0. But let me ask you, Mike Rob, how badly did the Fighting Irish need that win tonight, if they end up winning?
You know, I think it was just kind of like business as usual.
I don't mean to spoil anything, but it sounds like both of you will still have Central Catholic at number 1 in your top 10s at the end of the night.
Yeah, we said that from the beginning of the season.
That no matter what, it'll never change.
Dempsey is the coach of the year.
If Central Catholic has 2 fans on this earth, just know it's the 2 of them.
We're not fans.
Wait, but they back.
The eye in the sky does not lie.
We watch film.
All right. They got it. Y'all win, okay? Y'all win. We'll get into Coach of the Year later. You're watching Gameday Nation presented by Renewal by Anderson, a better way to a better window. We'll be right back. Tim Plagg said it best, the biggest win of the season. What an upset. Clay beating Anthony Wayne 28-14, led by Landon Echoberry. And fittingly, he's our top recruit. Here's our Justin Feldkamp. What a win for Clay over Anthony Wayne. Eagles taking down the Generals 28-14. It's the first time Anthony Wayne has lost back-to-back games since 2022. Mike Rob, what impressed you the most about the Eagles win tonight?
It's the way they fought back. You know, a lot of times it's just fight back. And a lot of teams don't want to fight back, and they fought all the way through it.
Anthony Wayne falling to 4-3. First time the Generals have 3 regular season losses since 2020. Mike Jewell, no Roman Morrison tonight. The Generals missed him heavily. What is the state of Anthony Wayne right now?
Oh, you got to find yourself. I mean, and again, Roman Morrison, his key, as important as he was as a running back, and he had that 200-yard game a couple weeks back, it's defense where he's even more valuable. And that's where Anthony Wayne has just not been able to get any stops on the defensive side of the ball.
And this is a Clay team that was blown out last week, a 35-0 loss to Finley. But the Eagles come into this week, Anthony Wayne on the schedule, preseason NLO favorite, and beats the Generals 28-14. How huge is this win for the program and the culture that Derek Pennington is trying to build, Mike Robb?
It's everything. Anytime you can go get a win over those guys out there in White House, it's very important.
All righty, welcome back to Game Day Nation, presented by Renewal by Anderson. Mike Jewell, Mike Robinson. I'm Yaw Bonsu. Our game of the week, Whiteford taking down Eden 60-36. The Bobcats are now the only team in the TAC undefeated in conference play. Breck Ruddy, 2 rushing touchdowns. Drew Ruddy, 2 rushing touchdowns. Rocco Pillarelli in his Bobcats debut also had a rushing touchdown. Mike Jewell, what made him so effective?
It's the scheme of what these guys do, and you get Pillarelli coming into this, and that's fun and that's outstanding.
Man, and what about the Ruddy brothers? It just seems like all 3 of them complement each other in the backfield. Of course, brothers tend to complement each other, naturally speaking, but on the field, what is it about Drew and Breck that just works?
Well, again, I think they've been infused in that Whiteford mentality since they were 3rd and 4th graders, and Pillarelli was actually part of that too, going in and seeing it happen. So it develops and inculcates itself. And remember, there are other pieces. It is a full unit of kids.
Whiteford is a team that has made it to the state Final Four in 6 of the past 10 years. Mike Robb, when you open up this case file and you look at the evidence, what tells you that the Bobcats are ready to contend for another state title in 2025?
Rocco Pillarelli.
A year ago, Whiteford was 5-5, getting bounced in the first round of the playoffs. This year, the Bobcats improving to 5-1 after a 60-36 win over Eden, a big-time win for the Bobcats. You're watching Game Day Nation, presented by Renewal by Anderson, a better way to a better window. We'll be right back. Before a big game, they need some carbs. They need some pasta. But we on Game Day Nation, we need some carns. We need some Brandon carns, to be exact. Give me some.
Carnivores. Carnivores.
Give me some.
We're carnivores, man.
Carnivores, carne asada, Brandon Cards joining us in studio. I think that may be our best intro through 7 weeks.
I don't know how we beat that except for whatever we sang a couple weeks ago. Yeah,
Exactly.
There's levels to this thing.
Do I have to pick a football venue?
I didn't. I literally didn't specify.
I'm going to go with Central City Boxing Gym over at Savage Park. It is where Albert Prince Bell, Toledo native boxer, 27-0, that's where he trains. And I love it because kids can go there. Yeah. When you have kids, you're worried about them being out in the streets, maybe not acting the way they should. You take them to Central City Boxing, and not only do they learn to stand up for themselves, you are walking into history. Yeah. And not only that, you're being trained by Albert Prince Bell, 27-0 boxer, and one of the best boxers, not only in the Toledo area, but in the entire nation. But here's the thing. Perrysburg, coming into this week, opponents had a combined record of 5-21. Central Catholic started the season 0-3. If the season ended today, Central Catholic would not be in the postseason.
Yeah, but you're not accounting for the points they would get from Michigan playoff side when the season actually ends.
No, that is
the Central Catholic hater.
It's when the season ends that those points go in.
He hates Central Catholic.
The second level points come in later.
How can you guys say that you want the schedule front-loaded when, 1, you don't know what your team's going to look like yet, and 2, you can get into situations like today.
What's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah.
What's the worst thing? You can go 0-3. You can go 0-3, right? And then look what you can still do when you do that. When your kids are facing the iron, steel, strength and steel. Iron, strength, and that's what I was looking for. When you do that and you coach it the right way and your kids understand. Now, will they be hearing some negativity and some crisis out there in the community? Yes, but you can control it as a coach, and your kids are tough and you trust them. Man, go play the best.
You can wait till the playoffs to do that.
No, because Central Catholic is not going to go against anybody in the playoffs as good as they played in the first 5 weeks.
They might not even make the playoffs. That's my point.
You're hating.
That is my point. I'm not hating. Central Catholic is the 13th seed right now. As we sit, Central Catholic is not a playoff team.
Great?
That's what the number show us.
Today.
St. John's won one game a season ago. Sure. And here we are, and the Titans are about to make the postseason. Joe Hoare deserves all the flowers.
Is he the coach of the year?
Yes. As we sit right now, even after losing to Central Catholic, yes.
Give me Derek Pennington.
We lost Mike.
Mike's
gone. Mike's gone. We lost him. I've done what exactly I came out here to do, and that's just stir up some questions. hold the belt. Remind you, he lost his box. Hey, Hefe's gone off the rails. This is the mic box in the middle right here.
Hefe is a genius. Hefe is a genius.
Off the rails. We only got 3 boxes. Mike Rob left. Hey, look, just duel.
Get that off. Carr, this got me just
Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing, Coach Jewel?
I can't handle screen by myself. It's got to be just you, Carr.
My real fear now is that this box is going to vanish and I'm going to be standing up here by myself.
Hey, that's a good
There it
thing.
is, here in the Stottenberg Media Center. Thank you guys for coming to hang out. Hashtag SSOTW. We got more Game Day Nation right after this.
Hey, we're not tossing a break yet. We're not done with you. The BCSN Nation podcast, Brandon Carnes does a fantastic job.
Yes, he does.
It's spooky season. Watch it Wednesdays at 4. And yes, guys, Joe Horn, without question, the coach of the year, even after a big-time loss against Central Catholic today.
Wow.
We're still a week after Brandon's segment. Welcome back to Game Day Nation. Mike Jewell, Mike Robinson. I'm Yaw Bonsu.
Wow, Bonsu.
Let's get into your top 10s. Mike Jewell, you're up first. And I know Findlay beat Clay 35-0 a week ago, but the Eagles, as you said, a big-time win over Anthony Wayne. Clay looked like a different team tonight. How close are Findlay and Clay after tonight?
You know what? I still think there's a difference between the two teams. They won't see each other in the playoffs. Right. But, you know, as far as Findlay, they took care of business when they needed to. But Clay is on the uptick right now for sure.
So coming into Week 7, Perrysburg was 5-1, but its opponents had a combined 5-21 record. You can throw that out the window because Perrysburg taking care of business, taking down a 5-1 Findlay team, 14-10. Mike Rob, what statement did the Yellow Jackets make tonight?
That they can play some defense. I think that's what they showed, that they can stop the run. And when you get to the playoffs, it gets cold, and most of the games will be versus Northeast Ohio teams.
And Findlay coming into Week 7 was on a heater, beating Fremont Ross and Clay, combined score 77-0, but the Yellow Jackets shut that down real quick. How did they get it done, Mike Jewell?
Perrysburg, it was a war on the line of scrimmage with both teams making plays and both teams getting stops and defenses kind of dominating. And you want that type of football game. Now you execute, you come back, you've got to get back to the tape and figure out what you're going to do.
Perrysburg and Whitmer, the only teams in the NLL at 6-1. You're watching Game Day Nation, presented by Renewal by Anderson, a better way to a better window. We'll be right back.